showing us what's happening in Southern California at the moment. This is one of the helicopters flying over some of the areas in Southern California that are either have burned or they're under risk right now. They're really working on the containment numbers, but strong winds are really threatening to undo some of the progress that's already been made there in Southern California, Kyla.
Yeah, and we want to look at basically three ingredients of what's going on. First of all, we have our drought monitor, and you can see how we are not in drought, but Southern California very much is still in places. They are very dry. We've got wind gusts. Now, listen, we're participating in some of that today, too, as you can see where the wind is from the brighter colors there. And then you've got relative humidity levels, and you'll notice where those darker colors are, that's drier conditions. Where the green is, that is wetter conditions, right? So we are doing better as far as relative humidity is concerned. So another thing I wanted to just kind of explain is people say, well, what are Santa Ana winds? How do they happen? Basically, when you've got high pressure that builds east of the Sierra, this is the typical pattern. That air will then push down the mountains. It is compressed as it's pressed down the mountains, and it is warmed. Then it goes through the desert areas, and that will help to dry out a little bit more. And then it actually gets pushed through the canyons. That compresses it further, and that means that it creates that strong wind that then rolls all the way out to the ocean. That's the typical kind of pattern and typical journey of Santa Ana wind. We call them Diablo winds. It's the same concept. It's that wind kind of coming from that high pressure that is in the other side of the mountain. So still under the influence of those offshore winds today. You can see the high wind warning up in Los Angeles, also heading up to Ventura County. And then you see the wind advisories. Those go through 6 p.m. on Wednesday, and those are more San Diego area points south. This is where we are current wind gusts right now. Obviously, Oxnard, that number very high. Riverside looking pretty high as well. But your eyes should go really to where those reds and purples are. That's where those big gusts are. Not all of them have weather stations that can show us the number, but you can see how intense it can get sometimes. So this is Tuesday morning. That's when another push of wind is going to go through, and then things should start to get a little bit better as we get later into the week. But notice by Wednesday, right, we've got that wind pushing again. That is Wednesday afternoon. So they're really just not catching a break. You can see the red flag warning there. In total, notice it's gone farther to the north now, including Santa Barbara and points north. It goes until 6 p.m. on Wednesday, but this particular area in West LA and Ventura County right now is under what's called a PDS, particularly dangerous situation. That goes from 4 a.m. Tuesday to noon on Wednesday. That's the little point that is probably going to be the toughest as we get into the next couple of days. So today, gusty east wind, low humidity. Obviously, they get into that potentially dangerous situation. Tomorrow will be the worst of it, likely in the morning hours. They do have a little onshore flow expected on Friday that would help. That will help to bring some of that moisture in. I'll be back in a little bit. We'll talk more about our local forecast.